Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another full day of eating. I'm Derek from Simnett Nutrition, and I'm sure you saw by the title of this video, today's focus is going to be all on digestive health. So I'll show you my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner of easily digestible plant-based meals. So there's lots you can do to improve your digestion. It's not just dependent on the food. So I'll be giving lots of tips throughout the day to help you there. So don't just skip through because you might miss something important. So of course, this is gonna be the perfect day to help everyone's digestion, but for the most part, these meals are really gentle on the gut, and I will give you reasons why I'm including certain ingredients that help digestion so you can apply the knowledge elsewhere. So with all that being said, these might not be the quickest, the tastiest, the most nutritive, or the most protein-packed meals that you've ever had, but I think you'll see that it checks most of those boxes, and most importantly, digestive health. So first thing I did when I got up this morning was pour myself a big glass of water, and not just any water, lemon water. So lemon water actually helps to stimulate gastric juices and get our digestion going. So I grabbed my lemon water and headed outside because I always like to do some stretches in the morning, and today I decided to do some that can help with digestion. So the cat-cow pose is a great one for that. Same with the laying twist. And this one here, the single-legged knee to chest, is a great one, especially for helping to relieve like gas and bloating. And if you pull both legs up, it's even better. And beyond those stretches, just get moving. A little jumping in the spot, just moving around, or even jumping jacks is definitely going to be enough to help get that digestion going. And speaking of getting going, I'm going to be heading to the gym here shortly, and you guys know I love my coffee, and I definitely have an on and off again relationship with it. And I know when my digestion is not good, the coffee has to go. So everyone responds a little bit different to coffee and caffeine, but if you find stuff's moving through you a little too quickly, it's not forming up very well, there's not a lot of volume per bathroom visit, or if you're getting like some heartburn and stuff like that, maybe try giving up the coffee for a little while, see if it improves things. So today I'm just gonna have a banana and an orange for my pre-workout, and once I get to the gym and I get moving and everything, the sugars and all that in the fruit is gonna be more than enough to power me through this workout. So fruit's a great thing to have in the morning to break your fast with because it's really easy on the gut and it's super hydrating and it's really delicious. I never have any problems when I have fruit in the morning. All right, so I'm hydrated, I'm fueled up, it's time to hit the gym. Alright, so I just got back from the gym and it's time to make that post-workout meal. So you guys know I usually like to have a big smoothie or a smoothie bowl with lots of different stuff in there. However, I know it's not the easiest on everyone's digestion. So there's a few different reasons for that. One being it's really cold a lot of the time, and that can be just hard on the gut. Another reason is because a lot of the time you end up blending a lot of different foods together, and sometimes stuff that you're not used to having together, and that can be a little bit hard on our digestion. And another reason is just because of the sheer volume. A lot of the time you end up eating a lot of food in a very small amount of time, and that can be pretty tough on the stomach. And then another one is just the fact that you end up blending everything together so you don't have to chew it, which seems like it would be helpful with digestion, but what happens is you don't end up chewing your food, you don't mix that salivary amylase in with it, which actually starts the digestive process, starts to break down carbohydrates, and so we don't get that, and then you end up just swallowing it right down, and you just rely on, your gut to do it all. So that could be a few of the reasons why. So today I'm gonna be having one of my other favorite meals. I'm gonna have some rolled oats. We're gonna make oatmeal. Oh, but you wanna make sure that you're eating organic oats. And if you guys watched my last video, you know why, and you're already buying organic oats. But if not, you might wanna go back and check that one out. Anyways, we're starting with organic oats. But first, I'm actually gonna blend up a little bit of water and a banana because I love cooking my oats in this because it makes them so nice and sweet. And if you like your oats extra sweet, you can always throw in a date as well, and that'll make it even sweeter. This way we won't have to use any refined sugars, which we know is not good for our microbiome. So oats actually contain a special type of fiber called beta-glucan. So this has a few different benefits. One is that it helps to slow our digestion down. So this means that we'll feel full for longer. It also helps to slow the rate at which sugars are absorbed, so it won't spike our blood sugar as much. And another thing is it's an especially good prebiotic fiber, so it feeds the beneficial bacteria in our gut, which we know is extremely important for digestive health. And then I'm also gonna add some cinnamon. So not only is this gonna add some flavor and sweeten it a little bit too, but cinnamon has some great benefits for our digestive health. So cinnamon's well known for helping to control blood sugar levels, but what a lot of people don't know is it also helps with gas and bloating. So there's something you might wanna add to more of your meals. And I'm just gonna chop up some apple and add it as well while it's cooking. Because if you cook fruit, it actually makes it more easily digestible. All right, so they're all finished. So let me just plate it up and add a few things to it. So one thing that I'd often do now is to like mix up some protein powder with the rest of that banana milk and pour it on top. And Vivo Life's protein powder is super easily digestible. It is fermented and all that, so it's about as easy to digest as it gets. However, I know not everyone does great on protein powder, so today I'm just gonna put it aside, and instead I'm just gonna have some plain soy milk with it. So this is gonna bump up the protein quite a bit. But the cool thing about this soy milk is it's unsweetened and it doesn't have any thickeners. So some people can have a bit of trouble with certain thickeners, you know, gellan gum and carrageenan and all that sort of stuff. So if you're not sure what's bugging your stomach, you might want to get rid of all that and then just have something plain like this. And then some hemp seed to bump up the protein even more and to add some of those healthy omega-3 fatty acids. So hemp seeds are generally better tolerated than other nuts and seeds, like they're easier on the digestion. So I'm gonna load those on there. And then some frozen raspberries, just for a little splash of color and a little bit more flavor. So I know it can be tempting to wanna throw a big scoop of peanut butter on here, but if you are struggling with your digestion, peanut butter is such a heavy, concentrated source of fats that it can be pretty hard on the gut. So you might wanna leave this out for this meal. All right, last thing I'm throwing on here, remember, less is more when you're trying to heal your gut, but I know I do all right on this stuff, so I'm gonna have a little bit of shredded coconut on here too. So one thing that people often neglect that affects your digestion is the emotional state that you're in when you're eating. So you really want to take some time before you eat to calm down, take some deep breaths, because you know, we end up becoming so wound up throughout the day. We're having to make so many decisions, and like, you know, social media is always in our face, and you know, you end up getting so ramped up that it's just not the time when your digestive tract is the most active. And when it is when you're calm, when you're in that rest and digest state. So we really want to take some time, take some deep breaths and calm down before we take our first bites for optimal digestion. And then the last thing that I'm going to mention at this meal is you want to make sure that you're chewing your food well. The digestive process starts in your mouth. So pay attention to how much you're chewing. And if your digestion is not great, try chewing more. All right, so that's probably enough tips for this meal. Better save some for the rest of the day. So I'm gonna eat this. I got a little work to do on the computer. Probably gonna head outside and do something fun for a little bit. And then I'll see you guys back in the kitchen and we'll make some lunch. All right, so I'm back in the kitchen and I'm just starting lunch. You guys see I just put some white rice into this pot because I'm gonna be making something, or it's similar to kitchari, which is an Ayurvedic dish that is well known for helping with digestion. So might as well make that for this video. It's really delicious, pretty simple. So I'm just gonna rinse this rice. So traditionally when making this, what they would do is they would saute the seasonings that I'm gonna use in some oil in the bottom of the pot before they cook it. But I don't really want to do that. I'm just going to do it like the easiest way possible, so everything's going in the pot pretty much at the same time. So I've got the rice rinsed, and now I'm going to be adding the yellow split peas. So I soaked these overnight. You don't have to soak yellow split peas, but it does speed up the cooking time, so they'll cook at about the same amount of time as the white rice, and you guys know it improves digestion when you soak something overnight. So I'm just going to discard this water and then add it to the pot. And it's probably a good idea to give them a bit of a rinse too, because they were a little bit slimy after soaking for that long. So these are going in the pot as well. And I'm making a ton here. This isn't just for this meal because, you know, I'll put some in the fridge, some in the freezer, and I'll have some for the next, you know, few days, weeks, whatever. All right, so next I'm gonna add some spices. So not only is this gonna add some more flavor to this dish, but it's also gonna help with digestion because these actually help with that. So turmeric, as we know, is a powerful anti-inflammatory and it helps to reduce inflammation in the digestive tract. So I'm gonna put a bunch of that in. And then next I'm gonna add some ginger. I don't think this one has a label. No, it doesn't, but trust me, it's powdered ginger. Ginger's great for digestion because not only does it help with gas and bloating, but it also helps increase gastric motility, which means that it helps to move things along your digestive tract, keep things going as we want. Next I'm gonna add some cumin seed. Obviously you could add powdered cumin as well. This helps to increase the activity of digestive enzymes, and it also helps to release bile from the liver. So that'll help you to absorb fats. And then some black pepper. So we know it's always a good idea to have black pepper when you have turmeric because it helps to absorb the curcumin from that turmeric. So I've had this before with just plain water and it is not that tasty. It's pretty plain, but this will definitely help. So I'm gonna cook it with this Better Than bouillon, and it's basically just makes like a veggie broth. All right, then you want to simmer it until it's all done. So it'd probably take about 25 or 30 minutes there. So while that's cooking, I'm going to just saute some organic mixed veggies. These are just frozen veggies. I'm just gonna throw them into the saute pan and just like cook them up. Keep it pretty plain. So traditionally when cooking the kitchari, they would use ghee in it, but I'm obviously not gonna use that. It's clarified butter. Coconut oil is another option, but I don't really want to do that. But we do need some fat with this meal, so I figured it'd be great to make a sauce. So I'm gonna make a tahini-based sauce. It's gonna be a pretty light one though, because we don't want to just like, you know, dump a whole bunch of fat on here, because that could be tough on the old gut. So starting with a little bit of water, then some tahini as well. Then I'm gonna add this garam masala mix. Some curry powder, a bit of onion powder, some date syrup. So this is just gonna add a little bit of sweetness, help to balance out the bitterness of the tahini. If you wanted to use maple syrup or, you know, whatever other sweetener you'd like to use, you could obviously do that too. And then a pinch or two of salt. Let's just mix this up, see how it tastes. I have no idea if this is gonna be good or not. I hope so. It's a little runny, so a bit more tahini. So it needs a little tang, a little sharpness. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of lemon. So good, perfect. So you guys know I like to have some greens with each of my meals if I can, if it works with it. And spinach is gonna be one of the easiest to digest, especially if it's wilted down. So I'm just gonna put a couple handfuls in here. All right, so it's all done, and I think I'm gonna be eating this for like the next week because I made so much. All right, so I better give it the taste test, see what I'm gonna be eating for the next week and a half. All right, so yeah, it's definitely really good. The addition of the Better Than bouillon, like the vegetable broth, was a really good one because last time I made it, it was much more plain than this. But this is definitely like really good. It doesn't taste like so much like a healing meal. It tastes like, you know, something you'd actually want to enjoy. And then that little dressing that I added is like the perfect flavor combination because as you know, there's, you know, like the turmeric and the ginger and stuff that's in here is also in curry, so kind of all goes well together. All right, so I'm gonna go sit down, take some deep breaths, calm myself down a little bit, and then I'm gonna eat this, and dinner's coming up pretty quick here, so I'll probably meet you guys back in here shortly. Well, it's gonna be quick for you, but pretty quick for me as well, and we'll make some dinner. Okay, show them how it works. Show them how it works. So just as a little interlude in between lunch and dinner, I thought I'd bring you guys out here and show you this line that I just made for the cats. I thought it was pretty cool because we tried to like put the leash out that like kind of extends and she's always getting a little tangled and everything. So I just threw this up the other day. It only cost me like, you know, 15 bucks and look at that. So I had to put a stopper here because we can't let her get too close to the tree because if she can get there, she'll just climb up it and she doesn't like to come back down. This is like her favorite thing to do is just like come and chill in the garden. She sits underneath this kale plant because we get so many moths that come around here, for like the cabbage moths, and they lay their eggs on here and she watches over it. She tries to catch them when they come over. And we've got this one as well, and she does not need to be on a leash because she's like street smart. So I've been trying to learn some new flips on the trampoline. So I'm gonna see if I can do it. Warm up first. Front flip. Back flip. So I've been trying to twist while I flip. I'm gonna try and do this front flip with like a 180. Oh,
Wow.
close. Ah, I got it. All right, that's good for the digestion. All right, so back in the kitchen, gonna make some dinner, and because lunch was not that long ago and it was pretty like dense and filling, dinner's gonna be a little bit lighter and it's gonna be nice and easy to make as well. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna be starting by steaming some sweet potatoes. I'm not sure it's all gonna fit. No, it will, it will. Perfect. And then next I'm just gonna chop up some bok choy. So what I like to do with them is to just cut off the green part, because I find this like cooks really quickly, and then I chop up the white part like a little bit smaller. So I've always found bok choy to digest pretty easily. However, I just Googled it to see what, Google would have to say about the digestion of bok choy, and apparently it does contain this type of sugar called sorbitol, which can apparently be difficult for some people to digest. So just keep that in mind. I think spinach is like a pretty safe one, but I don't think there's too much in it, because if you have about a cup of it, it still is considered like a low FODMAP food, and one of those fermentable oligosaccharides that they're referring to is sorbitol. So can't have too much in it, but it definitely does have some. And of course you could saute it dry or just with a little bit of water, but I am gonna add some of this toasted sesame oil because it goes so good with bok choy. Doesn't need much though, it's pretty strong. And while the bok choy is cooking, I'm just gonna season it really lightly because I don't want this to be completely plain, but at the same time, I don't wanna dump a bunch of stuff on there. It's gonna upset our stomachs. So a little bit of cumin, a bit of onion powder. Most people seem to do okay on onion powder. And some garlic powder. So do be mindful with the garlic powder, because I do find if I use too much of it, it can definitely cause some digestive upset. So just a little bit of that. And then to add just a bit more flavor to the bok choy, I'm just gonna hit it with a little bit of this tamari. All right, so one thing this meal is definitely lacking is some protein. So I'm gonna have tempeh with it. So this is generally really easy to digest, a lot easier than tofu because it has been fermented. And we know that fermentation helps to break down some of the difficult to digest sugars and starches, and does some of the work for us. So I've got two here. I've got this Indonesian one and this smoked tempeh, and this one is the bomb, so I'm gonna have it with this meal. It's so good. And a lot of the time I'd like saute it or stick it in the air fryer or something like that, but you guys are always giving me a hard time. You're like, Derek, you're destroying all the enzymes. So I'm not gonna cook it today, I'm just gonna have it raw. Well, it's not exactly raw because the soybeans have obviously been cooked, but you know what I mean. So it looks like there's almost about 40 grams of protein in this whole package of tempeh. So if I eat half of it, it'll be 20 grams of protein added to the meal. All right, so everything's done. I'm just gonna build my bowl. So after you steam sweet potatoes, you can definitely just like peel off the skin like this. If you don't want it, it's really easy to come off. So you can see how soft and squishy these are. Like they're pretty well cooked, and that's probably how you wanna do it if you want the best digestion, because the more we cook food, generally the easier it is to digest. Apparently just about every single food can cause people some digestive upset. So I don't know, if avocados don't agree with you, then maybe don't add them, but I don't have any problems with them, especially if it's a nice ripe avocado. And then of course, I'm gonna have a huge scoop of sauerkraut with this. What kind of digestion video would it be without a whole bunch of this? So I definitely do notice that things are more consistent and a lot better down there when I'm having sauerkraut consistently. So if you're not familiar with sauerkraut, it's just fermented cabbage, and you definitely want to look for one that's raw and unpasteurized. So it's going to be in the refrigerated section, not on just like the regular store shelf. This is the one you want that's going to do the good work. And I was gonna make a new sauce, but since I have this like delicious curry one left over from lunch, I'm definitely gonna use this because it was really good. All right, so it's all plated up and ready to eat. So usually I'd add a bunch more like raw veggies to this. I'd probably have like a small salad with it as well, but I know that raw veg can be tough on some people's gut, so you know, we're just keeping it pretty plain today. And then I'd also usually dump like a whole bunch of hot sauce on my meals, but I'm not trying to give any of you like heartburn or anything worse, so I'm gonna keep the hot sauce off it today. So before I dig into this, I'm actually gonna show you guys something that you can drink before your meals to improve your digestion. So this is a good thing to know about. It's called Swedish bitters. And as the name describes, it's an extremely bitter tonic. So they have a whole bunch of really bitter herbs in here. And what that does is it actually stimulates the secretion of our gastric juices, and it obviously promotes good digestion. So you just want to have it in a little bit of water. You're not trying to have, you know, a nice drink before your meal or anything like that. This is just so you taste the bitterness. Wow, yeah. Anyways, mix it up. Wow, that is so bitter. It's kind of like if you've ever chewed on like a dandelion stem, you know how it's just like that crazy bitterness? Yeah, definitely it's kind of like that. So I don't know, I'm sure other bitter foods would do the same, but it's pretty cheap to get this stuff and it really does work quite well. Now that I've had that taste in my mouth, this is probably gonna taste pretty amazing, but I'm sure it's really good either way. So I'm gonna have a little bit of the yam first and try that with the curry sauce on it. Yeah, really good. Let's try this bok choy. Yeah, really good, but pretty fibrous. I could see why this one might be tough for some people. You gotta chew it really well. Some of that straight out of the fridge tempeh with a little sauerkraut. Wow. All right, so just a couple other things. After I eat this meal, Crystal and I, we're gonna go out for a walk because we know that walking helps to stimulate digestion, and it's always a good idea to walk a little bit before bed, you know, because then your food isn't just like sitting there in your stomach, it has a chance to kind of move through. And also, peppermint tea. So peppermint tea is awesome. If you have it after a meal, it will make you feel so nice. So not only does it help with gas and bloating, but it also can help relax the digestive tract. So if you are having like some stomach pain or anything like that, definitely try peppermint tea. And peppermint's not the only one that can help. Like there's some blends like this that's really helpful. And this has some peppermint, but also lemon balm, chamomile, coriander, and caraway. So yeah, there's definitely some options. And having a bit of water around your meal is totally fine. Like you just don't want to go and slam like a whole, you know, big liter jar of water just before you eat like a big meal. It might not be helpful. But a little bit of water, totally cool and probably helpful. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I really hope you got something out of it. And I know that you guys probably have some great digestive tips yourself. So why don't you leave some in the comments down below, or if I've forgotten something or if I got something wrong, let me know there as well. So thank you so much for watching. Definitely hit the like button if you did enjoy the video, and if you learned something, subscribe so you can see more from me, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye-bye. So if you want to check out some videos that are not so focused on digestion and are a bit more focused on flavor, definitely check out one of these two videos here. Thanks for watching.